Hi guys, my name is Isa and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about that specific sensation when you're going through a heartbreak and you feel like what I had with this person was super special and I'll never get over them and I'm just here struggling to move on. But then you look at the other person and they're posting really happy with other people, they're dating someone new, and it just seems like this whole relationship you guys had was not special for them. Let's get started. Just letting you know, this is part of my series on how to get over someone. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to check out my other videos. So I'm currently going through this right now. I've been going through a heartbreak for the past few days, and let me tell you, I was not emotionally ready for it. I've been crying every single night. I've been skipping class. I've been skipping the gym. I've been barely eating. I was not physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever I needed to be prepared for this whole situation. And as of right now, I'm currently finding myself constantly thinking, this experience was super special for me and I hold it very deep in my heart. But I don't think it was special for him. Because why is he not reaching out? Why is he not missing me out loud? Why do I have this feeling that he's talking with other girls? And it's been really hard for me to accept that because I feel like what we had was so special. The idea that it wasn't special for him just feels very heartbreaking and it just adds more pain to the whole experience. I did some reflection and I realized this is not the first time that I've had the sensation when going through a heartbreak. So I went back in time and I reflected on the first time that I experienced this, and I want to take you with me in this journey of self-reflection because I promise you, when you are able to understand and identify what is happening in your brain and in your heart, and most importantly in your nervous system, it's going to be 10 times easier to move on from this person, from this experience, from the heartbreak. Okay, I'm gonna be talking about this one guy. We're gonna call him Luke. I think of Luke nowadays, nothing happens. I don't get happy, I don't get sad, I don't even get annoyed. Like, I'm just so unbothered by him and my story with him that I'm just so indifferent to it. It's crazy to me because at that specific moment when I dated him and when we broke up, my whole world fell to the ground. The idea of this guy not thinking of me or not missing me broke my heart. But now, I don't even think of him. I don't even miss him. I don't care if he doesn't think of me. I was thinking about that and I just didn't understand how something so special could become so insignificant right now. And maybe the right word is not insignificant because at the end of the day, that experience traumatized me so much that it has been affecting me ever since then. You have to understand the version you are right now and the version that you were when you went through that specific breakup is very different. Because right now, if I met Luke for the first time, I wouldn't like him. I don't even think I would be friends with him. But at that moment, it was exactly what I was looking for. It was exactly what I needed. And that's the first step we're going to take is we are going to understand why that experience was so special for us, or an old version of us. So I'll give you the context of my experience. I was a teenager. Months before being with Luke, I had my first heartbreak with another guy. I had little to no experience with guys, so I think at that point I was in a stage where everything was new. Almost everything was a milestone. I did a lot of milestones with Luke. Like, it was the first time that I was opening up to someone. It was the first time that I talked with someone of our future together. And at that early age, that meant everything to me. I think the most important part of understanding why that was special is understanding how my home life was. If you haven't seen my episodes, trauma dump, I was raised by an almond parent who basically taught me how to hate myself. So up to that point, when I first met Luke, I had lived so many years hating my reflection, feeling guilty after every single meal, feeling guilty after every single craving, feeling like I had to earn love and that love was tied to how I looked like. Plus, I was being constantly criticized by my parents in every single area of my life. So I was someone who hated herself, was not receiving love from home, felt like she had to earn love. So here comes this guy who is showering me with compliments, seems to appreciate every single thing that I don't like about myself, and he makes it seem so easy. This guy made it seem like it was so easy to love me. And that was my first time experiencing that. Understanding where I was at, I can understand why that experience was special. Was it special for him? That's what we want to know. Was it special for the other person? I think in his own kind of way, it was special. I don't think it was the most romantic relationship ever, so I don't think he remembers it fondly. But at that specific moment, that relationship was meeting a need in his life that the people around him were not meeting. And it's the same case for me. He was meeting a need in my life that no one in my life was meeting. So, in that aspect, in that specific moment where he felt that void, and I was the only one feeling that void, of course the relationship was special because I was making him feel relief, comfort, safety even. So it was special in that specific moment. And this is where I'm diving with my first point, which is just because it's special for me for X, Y, and Z reasons does not mean that those are the same reasons why it's special for the other person. So the reason why your relationship is special to you is very different to why that relationship was special to your partner. And in addition to that, we as individuals, we are very unique to how much we value things. And we're going to see this in multiple different areas of life. The best example would be sex. Some people assign a lot of value to sex, so they're not gonna go and have sex with a lot of people. Other people, they value sex differently to the point where they are going to have casual sex and they're going to enjoy it. But it's not going to be the most romantic thing they've ever done with someone, but it is something they like. So we see two people who appreciate sex, who treat sex differently, okay? So where I'm trying to get at is I don't think it's realistic to compare the way that I value something and the way that something is special for me to how you do it, okay? So I cannot say this was more special for me than it was for the guy I dated because I don't know. I don't know how he experienced it. I don't know what that meant for him. And I'm gonna talk specifically with the guy that my ex right now, like the guy that I'm currently crying. I don't think he has had like many experiences where he opens up with someone, but he had that with me. So that must have been special for him. I open up with a lot of people. So opening up with him was not that special for me, but just like experiencing that with him was. So how can I come here and tell you it was more special for me? I don't know how it felt for him. I don't know how much meaning he gave that. I don't know how unique that experience was. And you might tell me, I've been crying about this every single day and he hasn't. So I know for a fact it's more special for me. You're wrong. That's where you are wrong. But don't worry, that's exactly what I used to believe. Because with that guy who broke my heart, Luke, we don't like him. That guy, I spent so many months crying, and I knew for a fact he wasn't crying. I knew for a fact he had moved on. And that was very hard for me to process, but it was until years later that I realized me crying over a breakup is not a reflection of how special it was. It's a reflection of how comfortable I am in my capacity to express my emotions. This other person who's not crying over the breakup, who's not grieving the breakup, who just completely moved on, that is just a reflection of his limited capacity to express his emotions. Why are we surprised with people not feeling comfortable expressing themselves? We see this every single day. People get into drugs, people start drinking and they become addicted. People literally emotionally eat. They spend hours and hours on Instagram just like scrolling because they don't want to think. They don't want to think. Why do you think that happens? Do you genuinely think it's healthy for you to get to like experience a breakup and then immediately hook up with someone else? That's a distraction. That's literally this person attempting to not think about what happened. Why? Because they just don't have the tools to understand and feel and process everything that happened. And honestly, if you're watching this video, it's because you're struggling with something. It's because you need help with something. And I'll give you the difference with me. I am someone who has always had a space to open up. Even when I didn't have that safe space at home, I always had it with my friends. I always had at least one person I could call and cry about what was happening at home, cry about what was happening with my boyfriend or my ex, cry about what was happening with other friends. I always had that one person who I could open up and express myself, and I was validated and acknowledged. Not everyone has that. Geez, I didn't have that at home. If I didn't have that friend, I wouldn't have had a safe space. I wasn't allowed to cry in my own house. I literally learned to stop crying on demand. My sister learned to cry in silence. That is a reality for a lot of people. A lot of people grow up without a safe space to express themselves. So when they experience something very heavy like a breakup, they freeze. They don't know what to do. And honestly, even when you know what to do, it's not easy. Feeling your emotions is not easy. Processing your emotions is hard. Why do you think people go to therapy? Navigating everything involved in a breakup is so hard. That's why it takes so long, because it is so layered. It's your experience with this person, the promises or expectations you guys had of each other or made to each other, whatever is triggering from past relationships, whatever is triggering inside of you, like your fear of abandonment, your fear of rejection. It is so layered that we need to talk about it over and over and over again. It is so layered that we need to cry about it more than once, that I need to do a million journal entries to start processing what happened and start understanding what is going inside. Not everyone can do that. So it's not surprising to see your ex-partner not express himself. So me crying every single night on that breakup, and even the breakup that I'm going through right now, it's just a reflection of how comfortable I feel crying. Other people, they don't feel comfortable. Something that I would often ask myself was, is he thinking about me? Even if he's not crying about me, is he thinking about me? Was this special enough for him to miss me? Was it special enough for him to think of reaching out? That is such a loaded question because it has multiple answers and it is loaded with so much emotion. And as humans, we just tend to tie our worth to whatever answer comes out of that question. I'm gonna try and answer it as best as I can. Is this person thinking of you? Most likely. If you had a routine with this person, it is very hard for them to just completely forget about you. If you used to call this person every single day and now you don't, they are going to feel the absence of that phone call. Okay, so they feel the absence as much as you feel the absence. Now, also as humans, you may be doing something and you immediately get a thought of this person. Maybe you're studying and you immediately get a flashback of your first kiss or when they said something. That is completely human. That happens to literally everybody. It even happens to your ex-partner. What is the difference? The difference is when you get that thought, you engage with that thought and you keep thinking about this person. When they get that thought, they just stop it right there. They don't engage with the thought because they don't want to think about it. So that's why they don't spend that much time thinking about you as much as you spend with them, because you're engaging with the thought, they are not. And them not engaging with the thought is just a reflection of how they think, of how they deal with their thoughts. I tend to think they must be very special because I keep thinking about them. I keep thinking of them because that's how my brain works. I think a lot. If they don't think a lot about me, it's not because I'm not important, it's because they just think less than me. So that's just a reflection of how my brain works. I think we are so obsessed with, are they thinking of me? Are they missing me? Because we think we need them to experience the same thing for our experience to be validated. This is something that I've noticed as well multiple times, which is I need to know if this was special for them, for me to know if it's okay for me to see this as special. Do you know where I'm getting at? I feel like I'm only allowed to see this experience as special if it was special for them. Because if it wasn't special for them, I feel like I don't have the right to think of this as something special. I just want you to take a second to think about that, because when I realized that was the way my brain was working, it just hit me. I'm literally waiting for someone else to dictate my experience. It is my life. I choose what to focus on, who to focus on, what to think, what to feel. For some reason, I am waiting for someone else to tell me what to feel, for someone else to tell me what to think. You don't need this experience to be special for them in order for it to be special for you. It's already special for you. You need to allow this experience to be special for you regardless of what it is for them, because it is your life, it is your experience. You're the one grieving. You're the one feeling it every single night. Why would it depend on them? Why would it depend on other people? It depends on you. When we tell ourselves, no, if it's not special for them, it cannot be special for us. We might not directly tell that to ourselves, but sometimes we think of it that way. That's why we feel like it has to be special for them. We're basically invalidating our own experience, because with all that pain that we're holding, we look at this other person, we see that they've moved on, and we think, maybe it wasn't that special. Maybe I should move on faster. Maybe, why am I struggling so much with this? A mistake that I've done is I tried to justify why something was special. I tend to think over and over and over all the special moments I had with this person. And I tell myself, no, our experience was special because I've never been kissed that way. Our experience was special because we shared a moment when we watched the sunset. That experience was special because he held me and I felt this and I felt that. And I'm just repeating all of the good moments, and that just keeps me on a loop. So you need to understand this is special regardless of what they think. Give yourself permission to grieve this because it wasn't just anything that happened to you. Like, I'm gonna try and validate you as much as I can right now with everything that I told myself because it is necessary when you're going through this experience. This experience was real. You were the one experiencing this whole journey with this person. You were the one getting the texts, sending the text. You were the one on the call with this person. You were the one getting kissed by this person, maybe doing a little bit more. You were the one listening to their words, you know? Everything they told you felt real because you were real and you were genuine about the whole experience. So because you were being genuine, you assume the other person was being genuine. Regardless if this person meant what they said or meant what they felt, for us, it was real because that's what we are experiencing. So that makes it real. You're also the one feeling the pain. That makes it real. That is enough reason for you to feel like you lost something. Feeling the pain. You were grieving a relationship. You're grieving expectations, promises, possibilities. You're grieving that sensation of feeling chosen by someone. And now all of a sudden you feel rejected. I will give you the most basic reason why it was special. It was special because it happened to you. That experience was special because it happened to you. Think about it. You are not able to experience every single person in the whole world. You're not able to experience every single romantic relationship that exists in the whole world. Why? Because you have a limited amount of time here on earth. So the number of experiences you have are limited compared to all the options of experiences. So all the experiences that you have in your life are limited. You're not able to experience every single thing in the whole world. For example, I'm in Canada right now and I've spent 4 years in Canada. I wouldn't be able to spend those same 4 years in England. You know, it's either Canada or England. Like, I need to choose. You have limited experience in your life, meaning that all of those experiences are special because they happen to you. Let me rephrase it. You see your friend dating someone. It is very easy for you to see the true colors of this person because you're not dating them. They don't mean anything special to you. They're just some guy dating your friend. That's not special for you. You're just seeing them date. That's it. That's why when you see your friend crying, it's like, oh, she's going through a breakup. But you're not the one crying. You're not the one experiencing the pain. Maybe you are experiencing the pain because you're supporting her and you can feel her pain, but she's the one going through it. You're not the one in the relationship, meaning that relationship is not special to you. You're not in the equation. That's why when you're dating someone, other people can see their red flags. That's why it is easier for other people to tell you, just leave him, move on. But for you, it is hard because you're emotionally involved with this person. Because it is special for you, because it is happening to you in your life. It is special. It happened to you, it is special. You got kissed, it is special. It was your first of many, it was special. It was your last of many, it was special. It was just one of many, but it was different and unique in its own way, it was special. It hurts, it was special. I can remember it, it was special. I can feel my heart break when I think about it, it was special. I am grieving it, it was special. I am crying every single night, it was special. It was special. Regardless if this person meant everything they said or not. Regardless if this person is thinking about you right now, regardless if this person is going to regret what they did or not, it is special because it happened to you. And when you realize that is all you need, you're going to stop thinking, I want this to be special for him. Just assume it was special. Everything that applies to you applies to them. So they also have limited experiences in life. You were one of those limited experiences that he's ever gonna have in his life, meaning it is special. He was the one in the relationship, meaning it was special. You don't need his experience or him valuing the relationship for you to be special. You are special because you are. You don't need anybody else to make you special. You don't need anybody else to validate that or acknowledge it. You are special. Your experience is special. What you had with this person was special, and it was emotional, and it was exciting, and it was heartbreaking. And I am so sorry you're going through heartbreak. I am so sorry that you look at this person and it seems like they've moved on. I promise you, the one who does better after the breakup is the person who processes the breakup. If you just immediately jump to another person, like, that is so sad. How uncomfortable are you with your emotions that you have to jump on bed with somebody else? That you have to start following so many girls just to stop thinking about someone? Like, just think about that. You are so special to him that he literally needs to busy himself with work, text other girls, do this, do that, just so he doesn't think of you. That's how special you are. That's how special that experience was for him. That he needs to force himself to do certain things so he doesn't think of it. Because just thinking of it, feeling it, processing it, experiencing it again, unbearable. That's how special you are. That's how special the experience was. But something that you need to understand, it doesn't matter what he thinks. It does not matter what he thinks of their relationship, what he thinks of you, because it is your life. Ultimately, the only thing that matters is what matters to you. Your experience, your thoughts on the experience, your hope of the future, your perception of yourself. And something that I'm understanding right now, just thinking of my past relationships and thinking of the one that I'm grieving right now, is realistically, in a few months, in a few years, I'm gonna look back to this experience and I'm not going to think it was the most special thing ever. I'm probably going to be indifferent with this guy, exactly how I feel with the other guys in my past. Because at that moment, I would have moved on, I would have made peace with what happened, I would have want different things for my life. So in a few months or years, you're not gonna feel for this person what you feel right now. In a way, that feels comforting to think this won't hurt anymore. But in another way, it feels heartbreaking because it's so special. The idea of forgetting that whole experience is sad. That's the duality that we experience in heartbreak, which is we don't want to feel like this anymore and we want to move on and we want to get to a point where we don't care about this person. But we are looking at that future from a version of ourselves who loves this person and doesn't want to let go. So even the idea of feeling better at the expense of not thinking of this person we love with all our hearts feels scary, and that's completely valid, you know? I think you need to be compassionate with yourself and your experience going through this heartbreak. It is not easy. It is not easy at all. And I just want you to know I am super proud of you going through this whole experience, because you have the option to not go through it and just do drugs and emotionally eat and avoid any kind of feeling or thought about it, and you're just not doing that. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. You're going the hard way, but you're going the right way. So be compassionate with yourself right now. If right now what feels comfortable is thinking this was special for him, then think that. In the future, when you don't care about him, you're not going to care if he thinks of you. But if that's what you need to hear right now, tell yourself that right now. Because for all we know, it's true, right? I think at the end of the day, it's just understanding that a part of us desires them to think of us in order to validate who we are as a person. Not just the experience, but who we are. We want this person to think of us because we want to be someone people think about. We want this person to miss us because we want to be someone who people miss. That is completely separate from the relationship, and it's more on your self-esteem and your self-concept, which is something that I do talk about in my videos in case you want to check them out. Yeah, that's what I have for you guys today. For my next video, I am thinking I will talk about that intense desire to be their defining story. So basically, I don't know if you experienced this, but I want to be the one who he thinks about when he's kissing other girls. I want to be the one he thinks about before he goes to bed. I want to be that girl. I want to be that experience for him that years go by and he regrets fumbling me. We're gonna talk about that next video. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. I hope this made your heart feel a little bit lighter and just more at peace with your whole journey. Thank you so much for including me in your journey. I feel very grateful. If you think I am pretty, or you think my makeup looks cute, or you think I look like someone who does cute makeup, make sure to check out my channel because I do post makeup tutorials. I do have other episodes, part of my podcast, that talk about breakups, relationship with food, etc. So thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out my next episode. Bye.